Hello everybody, my name is Lavanya Mahatte and I'm the owner of Saffron Valley Restaurants. Today I'm very excited to show you how to make samosas. You might think samosas are hard to make at home or like a daunting task, but they're actually not. It's pretty simple. So the steps that go into making samosas are we make the filling, then we make the dough, we roll out the dough and form the samosas and then fry them. I think the most daunting part of the whole recipe might be to fold the samosas. It comes with practice, so don't be disheartened if you're not able to give it a go at the first try. Let's get started with the filling. So I've taken a medium-sized pan like this and I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of oil, and let the oil heat up to a nice medium temperature. In the meanwhile, I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of coriander seeds and 1 tablespoon of cumin seeds. They give a nice nutty flavor. So I'm going to slightly crush these two spices in a mortar and a pestle, just like a coarse grind. They need not be fine powdered, but just give it a gentle crush and make them a coarse blend. I can smell the aroma of the spices, and this is going to infuse through the oil and then for the filling of the samosa. I'm going to add the crushed spices to our oil and let them toast for about 30 seconds. You don't want to burn the spices, but just let it toast ever so slightly. To that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of chopped ginger, fresh ginger. So you buy the ginger, you can peel the skin off and chop it up fine and add that to the spice mixture. Next, I'm going to add half a cup of green peas that have been thawed. These are just frozen green peas that I just thawed. Add it to the mixture, the spice mixture, and saute them just to brown the peas slightly. Next, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of salt and 2 teaspoons of garam masala. Next, I'm going to add 2 large potatoes that have been boiled, the skin peeled and gently mashed, coarsely mashed. You can also grate them, but just lightly mashing them works well. Going to add that to the spices and the green peas and give it a nice mix. This is going to be our filling for the samosas. It smells so good. You can make variations of the samosa. Some people like it with like a minced chicken or a minced lamb filling. But the most classic way of serving samosas is with potatoes and green peas. You can check for seasoning if you need to adjust the salt, that's great. But our filling is ready. Now we're going to get started on the dough for the samosas. So the dough for the samosas, we're going to start with 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Going to add 1 teaspoon of ajwain or caraway seeds. It gives it a nice flavor to the samosa. The savory nutty flavor for the samosas comes from the ajwain seeds. Going to add just 1 teaspoon of salt. I have 3 tablespoons of oil. It could be any oil. I'm using vegetable oil today. So I'm going to use my hands to incorporate the oil into the flour and just keep mixing it until it resembles breadcrumbs, which is where we're trying to get the oil all through the flour, and it gives it the flaky, crisp outer crust of the samosa, the pastry. So I'm going to add just a few tablespoons of water at a time, just enough to bind the flour to form a stiff dough. You don't want the dough to be a soft one, because then the samosas won't be crispy. You want a stiff dough. And the best way to mix this is with your hands. We can make about 8 samosas with this 1 cup of flour. So you don't need a lot of pastry. So I'm going to cut the dough into 4 equal parts. And use some dry flour for dusting. Going to roll it into an oval shape like this and cut it into 2. So each one forms a half circle like that. So I'm going to make the remaining 3 as well, so we get 8 pieces. So I rolled out all the dough and cut them into half circles. I'm going to take 1 piece on my palm, just like this. I'm going to use some water to brush mostly on the edges, just enough to get it wet. And I'm going to form this into a cone, just like that. And I'm going to hold the cone in my hands like this and use our filling to fill the samosas. 1 tablespoon per samosa is a good measure for a medium-sized samosa. Going to take more water and brush it on the outside and make a samosa like this. We could also take a fork and use the back of a fork to score it to make a pretty design like that, or you don't have to, but I kind of like it like that. So I'm going to show you one more. So we take the sheet lined with our palm, brush some water on the edges so it'll seal, and you flip it over to form a cone and use your fingers to join the edges, and then use about 1 tablespoon of filling to fill the samosas, a brush of water, and then you fold the samosas. This comes with practice, so try them out, and then you could make variations too, just as long as the filling is enclosed in the pastry. It's a samosa. So we're going to fry the samosas now. The oil is hot. It's about 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is where the frying really takes place. I'm going to gently put the samosas in the oil and fry them for about 8 minutes. You don't want the oil to be too hot, otherwise they'll brown on the outside, they'll get really dark and not be cooked through. And you don't want it to be too cold, then it's going to absorb a lot more oil and they're not going to be as crispy. So I'm going to fry 4 at a time. You can see the bubbling, and just going to gently move them so they don't stick to the bottom of the enamel pan. So the samosas are fried for about 8 minutes in the hot oil. They're nice light golden brown in color. And they're best served with like a mint and a tamarind chutney. These samosas look delicious. I can't wait to give them a try. So good. Flaky and crisp and crunchy on the outside with a delicious potato filling. These are just the perfect snack for any time of the day. Thanks so much for watching. If there's any other dish you'd like us to show you how to make, please do comment below and we'd be happy to bring it to you. Thanks so much. Bye.